Hey there, YouTube. So I've really gotten into the 1/14 scale Tamiya 18 wheelers. I needed some space, so my 1/10 scale garage had to move, and I cut it down a little bit, but there wasn't anywhere else for it to go but up. Just this room's tiny; it's probably 8 by 10, prison cell. So the only place to do it was on the workbench here, and as you can see, I tried to make a different floor for it. I just didn't have any wood big enough, so I decided it needed to be as big as the entire table. Walk you through the 1/10 scale garage is basically the same. It's just a little smaller. I cut probably 1.5 feet off of it because it was just taking up so much space, and I didn't have walls all the way around it, so I kept it two-sided. So I got my workbench up there, all in scale goodies, Coke machine, toolbox, trash can, and I just set that other piece of wood up there because I didn't have anywhere to put the trail finder too. But it works for now. It's kind of where it was originally anyway. And downstairs, we've got the back corners are 4x4 wood posts. The back wall is 3 2x6s. The sides are made of, I think they're IKEA bed slats. Just had them laying around. And we've got some 2x4s in the front for supports. And everything's mounted real good. Screwed through to the bottom of the table. The sides are all nailed on. It ain't going anywhere. Now I got to get some more scale goods for the 1/14 scale garage. That started all this was Rachel found me this trash can over here. And I had a trash can up here for the 10th scale. I think I got that at Dave & Buster's. And she found this one at a thrift store, and it's a lot more closely this scale. So that's what got me thinking a couple days ago, thinking I needed to build a garage for my semi trucks. And here we are. Not much in it yet. Like I said, I do have, also going to show you now my new project. Still way on the back burner, but I did buy a bunch of little stuff that I needed to get the chassis together. I'll go ahead and zoom in there and talk about it. Okay, so what we've got here is, it's going to be a single rear axle king hauler day cab. No sleeper. This was my original king hauler cab that I had on the tri-drive over here, and I messed up the sleeper roof trying to chop it down, so I went in and got a new one for the tri-drive and just cut the sleeper off completely. And what's funny, that the original king hauler frame rails I had cut in half and bought the extensions that they sell everywhere now that bolt in and lengthen the frame. And I had a 3-inch extension. Well, I went bigger and got the custom rails. So what I used for this truck are just the front halves of the original king hauler frame. So everything's already in the right spot for the front axle, the motor, the cab. It's perfect. So the only thing I've got to try to piece together and make new holes for is the rear end. And if you're familiar with the Tamiya trucks, all of the single axle Tamiya trucks are leaf sprung in the rear. They're not any kind of air ride or anything. So shouldn't be real hard. I have a rear end. I'm missing some shims for the planetary gear. I'm waiting on that to come in, and I think I've got most of the mounting hardware to mount that in the front axle. And I'm still missing a ton of stuff, like I'm missing some of the steering links, the servo mounts for the front, which I'm probably going to change since I don't need a shift servo. We'll get to that in a minute. I've got the rear shackles and everything, so I should be. I don't have any tires and wheels for the rear. These were my little, they're the lowrider RC 4-wheel drive lowrider tires, and yeah, they're not going to work. I need normal size tires on the front of it. But for now, just to mock it up. And I do have that aluminum front axle. I have no idea where that came from. I've had it forever. It actually does have aluminum knuckles and everything on it. But the best part, the part I'm excited about the most, is the transmission. And this is an RC four-wheel drive, what do they call it? R1 Disruptor, something like that. It's geared real low, but there's no shifting, no nothing. And I'm thinking about putting the HPI gear reduction unit on it that I have, since it won't fit on the King Hauler tri-drive. On the stock 3-speed transmission, it gets in the way of the servos. So I may try to use it on here. I was looking at it and it doesn't line up right because this has the screws on the outside, and there were some issues with fitment as well. But they seem like it might be able to overcome those. You can see I've got stock shock mounts, everything, all the holes are there for that. The transmission's not mounted right now, it's just wedged in there. The cross member's in the factory place. The rear end, I have no idea where that came from. I think that was spare parts from the Mercedes that I had. I don't know if but it's a dovetail end of frame section with the rear cross member. So I forced them in the rails where it was cut, marked it and drilled it out so I can mount my rear suspension to it. I've already got it mounted to the frame with one bolt. I'm waiting to see where and how and all once I get the rear end built and start trying to mock up the wheelbase of it, because it's just going to be winging it with the rear. But that's a super secret project I've been working on. Just a short wheelbase day cab King Hauler. Yeah, other than that, I just want to show you my shop. You can see a kind of back you out here. You can film in one, and I can move the camera up and we can go film in the other without really interfering with each other. That's about all the changes I made to the shop today. I had to rip all this stuff out. I built this entire table and it's heavy, very, very heavy. It's all built of 2x6s and 4x4 posts, and these desktops that I've found for it. And now it's even heavier, and it's impossible to move by myself. So hopefully this gives me enough space to grow into. I was thinking that I need room for trailers and stuff eventually with these trucks. And I like to go the whole 9 yards. I got that big old tri-drive. I'm gonna need a big, long, heavy trailer for that. Not sure what kind or anything, because those custom trailers are expensive. I mean, those RC four-wheel drive trailers, and then there's some folks online that make their own. They're upwards of $1,000. I mean, that's too rich for my blood. As much as cool as that stuff is, I can't move up to that league yet. I still got too much grown-up stuff to deal with. But anyway, yeah, should be a video up here, tri-drive, any minute, and then we'll get this one up, and there'll be more coming. We'll have some on the King Hauler short wheelbase, and still waiting on paint, but I'm gonna go ahead and do another one and get the Scania R470 ready to go. All I gotta do is let the paint dry, bolt the cab on, and be done, because I've got all the bumpers and fairings painted, so it's just about done. But anyways, thanks for watching, and keep checking back. Please like, subscribe, and share.